Dent has recently entered a complicated correction that extended its uptrend, and today we'll analyze this structure and see what are the next possibilities for it. Stay tuned. So let me start by a quick recap for those of you that are watching Dent analysis for the first time. In my previous Dent analysis, I have explained that Dent is forming a 5-wave structure, and we already have completed 4 out of these 5 waves. This structure started in March of 2020, and it formed its initial wave, its first correction, its second wave, its second correction, and we are now in the middle of the 5th and the last wave of this structure. I have explained in my previous analysis that the 4th wave of this structure, or the second correction, has ended right at this point, and we were starting to form a new uptrend. But since then, Dent has failed to form a new higher highs and confirm the new uptrend, and it has entered a more complicated correction, and that's what we'll explain today. But before we move further, I want to highlight an important point here on the weekly chart. And this point is that Dent has been holding above the 50-week exponential moving average because it has retested it once, and now it's coming to retest it twice. So in order for us to have a confirmed new uptrend, this support level has to keep on holding the price. So now let's move to the daily chart and analyze this piece further in order to understand what kind of complicated correction we have at this point. On the daily chart, the new uptrend has started, as said earlier, right at this point, and it has formed an initial impulse up from this point. But in my previous Dent video, I have explained, although this is a beginning of a new uptrend, but we can't have this uptrend 100% confirmed unless we break above this level, because when that happens, we would have formed a series of higher highs and higher lows. So after the price has touched this point, if we went down and then we continued up to break above this point, we would have confirmed a new uptrend 100%. However, what happened since then is that instead of going up and breaking above this level, the price decided to go into a complicated 3-wave corrective pattern. As we stand today, we already have 2 of the 3 corrective waves that are already complete. So this is the initial one, and this is the second wave, and now we're in the middle of the 3rd and the last wave of this correction. Now, as soon as this whole correction becomes complete, these 3 waves together will be considered as the second wave of the new uptrend. And so what should happen then is that we will look at this pattern as if this was its initial wave, and these 3 waves together are the second piece of it, and then we are supposed to get a 3rd piece of this structure. And this is the only thing that I can confirm as of this point. And those of you who follow me always know that this is confirmed because we can't have less than a 3-wave structure in the market. So the market is always categorized in one of 2 structures. The initial one is a 3-wave structure, and the second one is a 5-wave structure. And in order for us to complete this pattern here, which is considered the 5th and the last wave of the bigger structure which I explained earlier, we'll have to get a last impulse up which should complete this full pattern. But the important question now is, when will this corrective pattern be complete? Now, from the way this one looks, it seems to be forming a running flat, and if this is actually a running flat, ideally we should go down and break below this previous low at this point. And if that's the case, we should expect a further drop down from this point until we get here, and then we can resume the uptrend from this point. So the overall corrective pattern is going to be these 3 waves, and the bigger structure is going to be these 1, 2, and 3. But we also have another possibility, and it says that this structure could be a contracting flat where each one of these waves is smaller than the previous one. So the initial one is big, the next one is smaller, and the next one is even smaller, which applies here to this pattern. So if that was the case, we should expect resuming the uptrend at some point here. Now this will only be valid if the 50-week exponential moving average, which I spoke about on the weekly chart keeps on holding the price, because as of this point right now the price is retesting the 50-week EMA for the second time. The initial time was here at this point, and this is the second retest. So if that exponential moving average manages to hold the price, we should expect the uptrend to be resumed from some point over here, which should not take a lot of time. But if this is not the case and the EMA does not manage to hold the price at this point, we should expect a further drop down until we break below this point and then resume the uptrend from some point over here. Now if we plot the Fibonacci retracement levels on this structure, we can clearly see that the first Fibonacci retracement level that stands below this previous low is the 0.78 Fibonacci level. So if the more extended scenario is going to happen, then we should expect the price to fall towards these levels here, which are around 0.0031. And only here we can start expecting the uptrend to resume going up further from this point. Now I personally tend to support this scenario a little bit more, because Dent haven't been having a lot of momentum recently, but I could be wrong about this, and no one can ever be 100% right when it comes to these forecasts. So the most important point to watch is the current price point, where the price stands right now, because as I explained to you on the weekly chart, the price right now is retesting the 50-week EMA. So if the price does not manage to hold around these levels and falls down further, then we're going to see a big drop till we retest this level and then continue going up. However, if we start to see some kind of consolidation and rejection around this point here, we will likely see the price continue the uptrend from this point here onwards. Now in either one of these cases, we should expect to see one last impulse towards the upside here, because this one is needed to complete this small structure that we have at this point, and it's also needed to complete the bigger 5-wave structure which I explained initially and that started here. So this structure will not be complete before having the price goes above this previous high, and only then we can expect the price to start looking towards a bigger long-term correction to the downside. Now if you have enjoyed this video and you think it was helpful, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button, and also share the video as well. This is all I had for Dent today, and until next video, stay safe and see you later.